All right, so we're going to be taking a deep dive today, looking at some effective English practice techniques.
Okay.
Um, and the source material we have today is actually an excerpt from a fictional podcast.
Yay.
It's kind of like it's like think of it like Inklastrad text,
Uh-huh.
but it's about language learning.
Okay.
So these are two speakers that are discussing tips for practicing English.
Got it.
And we're going to be extracting the gold nuggets from their conversation
Nice.
and hopefully giving you a cheat sheet to maximize your own practice efforts.
That sounds great.
All right, so the excerpt opens, and these speakers jump right into something I think we can all relate to, and that's the struggle to actually find time to practice.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's tough
It's really
to balance everything.
Yeah,
You know, life gets in the way,
absolutely.
and these speakers, they actually jump right into the Duolingo dilemma.
Yeah.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all seen, those cute little owl reminders
Oh, yeah,
to, get your daily practice in.
for sure.
But I think the speakers make a good point that while Duolingo can be great for, building up your vocabulary and getting some of those grammar basics down,
Mhm.
it's not enough to make you truly fluent.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's like, imagine trying to learn to cook, but you only ever read recipes.
Right.
You never actually, get in the kitchen and make anything.
Yeah, you got to get your hands dirty. You got to,
Exactly.
do it.
So Duolingo is kind of like the appetizer,
Yeah.
but we need to figure out what the main course is.
Uh-huh. What else? What other dishes should we be adding to the menu?
Exactly. So the speakers bring up a common trap that I think a lot of English learners fall into,
Okay.
and that's passively listening to things like movies and podcasts.
Right.
So you might think that, by having a movie on in the background or listening to a podcast
Yeah.
while you're doing other things, that you're kind of absorbing the language.
Yeah.
But without that active engagement,
Mm.
it's kind of like, trying to learn to swim by watching other people do laps.
Right. Exactly.
You're not actually getting in the water.
You have to get in the water.
So how do we take those passive moments and turn them into active learning opportunities?
Yeah, that's the key question.
Do we need to be sitting there like with a notebook, taking notes during every movie night?
Well, I don't think it needs to be that intense, but
Well.
the speakers have a few suggestions.
Okay.
And some of them are to like hit pause every so often
Mhm.
and repeat some of the phrases that you hear,
Okay.
or even just try to summarize
Yes.
what you've just listened to.
Got it.
And it's all about, building that muscle memory for your ears and your brain.
So really tuning in and actively engaging with the language.
Yeah.
Not just letting it kind of wash over you.
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking of active engagement, the speakers also touch on writing in English,
Yes, they do.
which I think a lot of us can relate to the feeling of, maybe some intimidation when you open up a blank document
Oh, yeah.
and try to, write something in English.
Right.
It's like almost like facing a blank canvas.
Uh-huh.
Where do you even begin?
It can be really scary.
Yeah, and that blinking cursor
Right.
can almost feel like a judgmental eye.
Especially when you're worried about making mistakes.
Right. And, am I using the right grammar? Am I choosing the right vocabulary?
Yeah.
So the speakers have a tip for overcoming that fear.
Okay, I'm curious.
They say to focus on expressing yourself first.
Okay.
Don't worry about perfect grammar.
Uh-huh.
Don't worry about perfect vocabulary.
Okay.
Just let those thoughts flow onto the page.
Just get it out there.
And then you can always go back and edit later.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
So it's kind of like giving yourself permission to have fun with the language,
Yeah.
to just kind of sketch out ideas
Uh-huh.
before you try to create a masterpiece.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a great way to think about it. Yeah.
And, even native English speakers,
Right?
when they write, they don't just, sit down and write a
Right.
perfect first draft.
Yeah, it takes a lot of editing.
They go through multiple drafts and revisions.
Right.
So
It's all part of the process.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's all part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the speakers in our excerpt,
Mm-hmm.
they really hit on this idea of finding methods that make you excited
Yes.
to practice English.
Absolutely.
And I think that's so important
It is.
because if you're forcing yourself
Right.
to study, grammar rules that you find tedious or vocabulary words
Mm.
that you're never going to use.
You're going to lose motivation.
Yeah, it's no wonder you're going to lose motivation.
Exactly.
So they had some suggestions for making practice more enjoyable, right?
Yeah, they did.
What were some of those?
Well, one of the things they talked about was finding podcasts or
Okay.
YouTube channels that align with your interests.
Oh.
So if you're already hooked on the topic,
Yeah.
the language learning becomes kind of like a bonus.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like sneaking in veggies
Right.
with a delicious smoothie.
You're getting all the good stuff without even realizing it.
Exactly, and you don't even realize you're learning.
Yeah.
They also mentioned setting realistic goals
Yes.
for things like journaling.
Absolutely.
So instead of saying, okay, I'm going to write for an hour today,
Right.
maybe start small.
Yeah, start with like 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes a day. Okay.
Yeah, just to kind of get in the habit.
Yeah, just to form the habit
Yeah, exactly.
and not overwhelm yourself
Right.
with, a marathon writing session.
Exactly.
It's like those fitness challenges
Yeah.
that encourage you to just walk for 10 minutes a day. You'd be surprised how much progress you can make
For sure.
with those small steps.
Little by little.
So it's all about consistency.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the speakers bring up a fear
Okay.
that I think a lot of English learners face,
Uh-huh.
and that's the fear of actually speaking
Yeah.
out loud.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
It's almost like stage fright,
Right.
but for everyday conversations.
Yeah, it can be really intimidating.
Oh, I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
Even when I have to leave a voicemail message in English,
Uh-huh.
like my heart starts to race a little bit.
Yeah, I get it.
So do they have any advice for overcoming that?
Well, one of the things they suggest
Okay.
is to practice solo,
Okay.
which takes the pressure off because
Oh, yeah.
you don't have an audience.
Right.
So, you could try reading aloud from a book or an article,
Okay.
or even just describing your surroundings out loud.
Okay.
So, imagine you're giving a tour of your own home in English.
Uh-huh.
No audience, just you getting comfortable.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
It's like rehearsing for a play,
Yeah, exactly.
but without that opening night pressure.
Right.
It's all about just getting comfortable
Uh-huh.
with the rhythm and the flow of the language.
Yeah, just getting those sounds out
Yeah.
and the muscle memory going.
And the more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like the secret to fluency
Yeah.
isn't about finding some magical shortcut.
No.
It's about consistently incorporating English
Yeah.
into your daily life
Right.
in ways that you actually enjoy.
I think you've hit the nail on the head.
So it's about embracing the journey,
Yes.
not just focusing on the destination.
Exactly.
It's like exploring a new city.
Uh-huh.
You wouldn't want to just, rush to your hotel room.
No, you want to experience it.
You want to wander around.
Yeah.
You want to discover those hidden gems.
You want to get lost a little bit.
Exactly. And savor the experience.
Absolutely.
And I think the speakers in this excerpt,
Mm-hmm.
they really highlight the importance
Yeah.
of finding your own unique learning path.
I agree.
What works for one person
Right.
might not work for another.
Exactly. You have to find what works for you.
Yeah, it's like having your own personalized travel itinerary
Right.
for your language learning adventure.
Exactly.
You get to choose the destinations you want to go to,
Yeah.
the activities you want to do.
Oh, you want to learn.
And, if we kind of zoom out
Mm-hmm.
and look at the bigger picture here,
Yeah.
it's not even just about language.
Right.
It's about this idea of developing a growth mindset
Uh-huh.
in any area of life,
I like that. Yeah.
embracing challenges,
Mm-hmm.
experimenting,
Right.
finding what truly resonates with you.
Absolutely.
So
That's though.
what does this all mean for you,
Yeah.
our listener?
What's the takeaway?
What's one big takeaway
Mm-hmm.
that you can put into action today?
I think it's easy to get caught up
Yeah.
in, the latest app
Oh.
or learning trend.
Right.
But I think the real magic happens
Okay.
when you personalize your approach.
Okay.
So, think about what truly motivates you to learn English.
Yeah. What's your why?
Exactly.
Maybe it's connecting with family members who
Uh-huh.
speak English.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's, finally being able to understand those British sitcoms
Yeah.
that everyone's raving about.
That's a good one.
But whatever it is,
Yeah.
use that as fuel
Yeah. Use that as motivation.
for your language learning journey.
Absolutely.
Remember,
Yeah.
every small step you take
Mm-hmm.
is a victory. Don't underestimate the power of consistency.
And finding joy in the process.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today,
Okay.
I want you to think about
Yeah.
your current English practice routine.
Mm-hmm.
Is it something you genuinely look forward to?
Right.
If not,
Yeah.
maybe it's time to shake things up a bit.
I agree.
Maybe dust off that journal,
Uh-huh.
find a podcast
Yeah.
that sparks your interest,
Or watch a movie.
or even just spend a few minutes each day
Right.
describing your day
Yeah.
out loud in English.
I love that.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
Yes. Try new things.
Maybe try joining an online language exchange or
Right.
watching a movie with the subtitles off,
Uh,
or even writing a short story in English.
yeah. Those are all great ideas.
Who knows? You might discover a
Yeah.
hidden talent
Right.
or passion along the way.
Exactly.
Remember, learning a language is a journey.
It is.
not a race.
Yeah.
Embrace the ups and downs. Celebrate your progress.
For sure.
And most importantly,
That's the most important thing.
have fun with it.
Yes, have fun.
Until next time,
Yeah.
happy learning.